Okay, so this is Veracity Milk from Zune HD 4.me, and this will be a review of the new Zune HD. This is the Platinum 32 gig model. I've had it and been using it for a couple of days now, and I'll do a hardware and software review. So let's start with hardware. Right off the bat, it's very glossy. The OLED screen is very apparent that it's a high quality screen. The only problem is that it's very prone to glare, more so than most screens because of the OLED technology. It's not a big problem for me because I would be willing to sacrifice the glare for the glare for the screen quality, but for some people it might be a problem. Um, Another thing I noticed was the weight is extremely light. It's not like previous Zune because it has flash. Well, at least not like the 80 and 120. Um, so it's a lot smaller than I had expected too, because I hadn't had a look at it before I actually bought it myself. I hadn't physically used the device until I unboxed it. So um, overall, it feels very well put together. It feels very sturdy, and I haven't dropped it, and I plan not to, but it doesn't feel like it would shatter if you did. Um, I have taken this apart and put it back together. It's very simple. There's just four tri-wing screws on each corner. It has brushed aluminum, which I like a lot. It's not scratch prone at all. And rubberized plastic at the bottom, probably for the antenna, for the Wi-Fi antenna. Um, so it's not interfering with the metal. All the buttons are very responsive. There are none that are too, like, the button quality. And I just turned the Zune on, by the way, when I click the top button, the power button. Um, Other than that, I can't say much. Here's one side with nothing on it, the bottom with the port and the USB port and the headphone jack. The side with the quick play button right here, and it also says hello from Seattle. The power button's on top, engraving of the Zune logo on back, which I heard that you can customize now, the back of the Zune, if you buy it off zuneoriginals.com or .net. Here's the logo. Here's the lock screen, and you simply slide it to unlock. You only have to slide it about halfway up the screen. You also notice that if you leave it here for a couple of seconds at the lock screen, it will bounce to show you that, yes, you would slide it up, in fact, if you don't see the little arrow at the bottom. Any of the buttons here can activate like that. Any of the buttons here can activate the lock screen. But if you touch the quick play button from when it's wherever in the operating system, basically, you can have access to the quick play controls for a few seconds. If you don't touch anything, it'll go away, and eventually it'll auto lock. So you can see the battery is up here. The clock is down here. When Wi-Fi is connected, it'll show it up here as well. And same with anything that's playing currently or paused. So, off the bat, you see that it's a very sleek interface. It's a very well-defined operating system, and Microsoft really went all the way with aesthetics on this, hardware and software-wise. If you swipe over or if you press the home button, it will bring up your quick play panel with pins. You can see that I've pinned google.com and mobile Facebook, which basically act as bookmarks, even though you can use bookmarks in the internet browser itself. History shows what you've listened to or viewed, anything basically recently. New is all your new content that you sync to your Zune. It's kind of inaccurate, especially if you had done if you've synced quite a few media all at once, like I have over the past couple days. So I don't know how many of you already had owned Zunes before this, but I actually haven't. This is my first Microsoft music player. Before I've been an iPod person. I'm actually recording this with an iPhone 3G. So the play button right here actually launches a shuffle for music, and otherwise just tapping the music will open the music application. You can see that to navigate back without the home button, because the home button brings you all the way back to the menu, if you just tap music and you tap at the top of the screen where it has a zoomed in view of the title, it'll bring you back to the previous menu, whatever it would be. So like the previous Zune was set up, it has artists, playlists, songs, and you just scroll or tap to each one to scroll through them. There's no reference, there's no scroll bar. Actually, there is, but it's not an alphabetical way like there is on the iPod models. So what you do to quick scroll to any number or letter is you tap and you select the artist name. So let's say M. And it brings you to Machine Head, Matchbox 20, Matt and Kim, and MC Hammer just for the first four. Also, if you were to go to the top of the list, you scroll down all the way, it brings you to the bottom, which I didn't notice at first until I was kind of just playing with the device itself. So let's return. I'll show you the now playing screen in a minute. I'll just cycle through the whole menu first. Videos set up the same way. You can see the Engadget show, first launch video, and Psych, a free episode, and you can scroll over to TV and other, whatever, as explained previously. Pictures. I was surprised with how good pictures, even on a smaller resolution, they looked. The interface is set up mostly like every other touchscreen interface with pictures. You rotate, and there's an accelerometer, of course, in here, so it flips it pretty quickly. You swipe to go to the next picture, and the other direction to go before. You tap, and you can start a slideshow. You can apply as background. Now, a couple problems I have with a background is there's no way to crop the image for the background. As you can see, this is the same image that I use on my lock screen. Now, if I lock the device and I turn it back on, you can see that it's automatically zoomed in to fit the proportions of the screen here. Now, there's no way to set this proportion. There's no way to rotate any of these pictures on the lock screen, which I kind of have a problem with. As well as you can only set backgrounds in your from your pictures or from the Zune Marketplace artist pictures. There's no way to download images online or set them as backgrounds, which I would like to see. So the only way to truly know what exactly you're going to see as your wallpaper, you'd have to make an image that's the same size as the Zune resolution. But that's enough for pictures. Radio. It's not crucially important that I show you this, but why not? You have a standard FM interface, and you can scroll through. You can tap to bring up the quick play menu. It lets me. Maybe it doesn't because it's not an actual station, but you can scan with either of the buttons. You can pause the live and build the radio into your cache. You can actually tag songs and raise and lower the volume. You can tag songs, which I like to do if it has if the radio station broadcasts the frequency to do so. You can tag the songs so that you can view them in the marketplace later and download them if you wish. You can also create, obviously, the playlist, or not the playlist, but your favorite stations by tapping this button up here and viewing them by tapping this button down here. Marketplace. Not much to say about this. Music and apps. Just wanting to connect to my wireless right now. And then your cart. You can search using the search feature. And as of now, there's only about 6 or 7 apps that are available. They're all free, but they're not very in-depth. Music is self-explained. It's the Zune Marketplace music to download, and brings you to your cart, and it's pretty easy. Also, just a side note is that you can see that it went back to the radio station. It does this from wherever you are in the operating system. If you were to leave it for a couple seconds, it goes back to whatever you're not playing is, whether it be radio or music. Social. I don't use this a whole lot because I don't have friends, but I actually don't use Xbox 360, and I don't have many other people that have Zunes. So it has your inbox and it has your friends list, but it's basically the same as it was before in previous models, I guess. The internet browser. It's a nice browser for a mobile device. I wouldn't say it surpasses the mobile Safari on the iPhone or the iPod Touch by a long shot, but for simple web viewing, it works. You can't download anything, and there's no flash player. You can see that there's bookmarks, there's a back button, and you can search with Bing using that little button over there. You tap this to bring up the refresh in the URL bar.